In all of my watch buying experience, buying watches online is probably one of the best ways to get a unique timepiece, and one of the best places to buy online is at Yahoo Auctions Japan. Think of it as like eBay but with way fewer fakes and with watches that come at much greater prices. However, despite all these positives, there does come a cost of buying a watch overseas, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you what is the true cost of buying a watch online from Japan. So I've said in multiple videos in the past that the place where I buy watches the most is on Yahoo Auctions Japan. And of course, you do need a proxy service to use Yahoo Auctions Japan, and my choice is from Japan. And I chose this because the exchange rate is slightly better compared to its competitor Buyee.jp, and I've stuck with them since because they now give me a shipping discount. These proxy websites will place auction bids on your behalf, and they'll ship it to you pretty much everywhere around the world. And while the process of using these proxy services is relatively easy, there's quite a few different costs associated with getting your watch from Japan to your front doorstep. And today I'm going to be using 3 examples of watches to show you exactly how much that costs. Alright, let's start off with our first example here. This is a watch that I purchased for just 1 Japanese yen, so that's basically 1 Canadian cent. So let's look at those extra fees that are going to be on top of that 1 yen. So you can see it already starts off at 820 yen, and that's because of the 300 yen handling fee. So that's per item that you ship. So if this shipment had 5 items, that would be 1500 yen. And then here we have domestic shipping within Japan. So that's shipping the item to the warehouse within Japan, and that's usually between 0 yen, so that's free shipping, or about 1500 yen. So this one is 520 yen. And then we'll look at the shipping methods here. This is a shipping to ship it from Japan to my doorstep. And there's a few different options here. We have FedEx, DHL, and then a few Japan Post options. A lot of items are restricted for DHL, so this is actually quite rare that I can actually use DHL, but it is the most expensive. FedEx is a bit cheaper, and then Japan Post is a lot cheaper. This Surface Small Packet, if I select it, you can see that the shipment to North America is 2 to 3 months, and it does not have a tracking option. So even though it's really cheap, I would not recommend the Surface Small Packet. If we have Surface here, it does take quite a while, again 2 to 3 months, but it looks like you do get a tracking number. Although I haven't tried this method yet, because it's only a few dollars cheaper of EMS. And EMS, this is the one I like the most. FedEx I find to be kind of inconsistent. It seems like they will sometimes claim that they went to my doorstep and then I wasn't there or I didn't answer the door, but that's not true. Like I would be home all day and they just didn't knock on the door. They would just leave a little note saying that I have to go pick up the package from their distribution center. So I don't like FedEx a lot. I think EMS is your best shot. And if you do select this one, again, I get that discount, so really you'd be a little bit more expensive. You could expect to pay about 40 Canadian dollars in shipping and other costs for a 1 yen watch. Now, one thing that the shipping page doesn't show you is the duty and tax fees that you'll have to pay. And this, at least in Alberta, Canada, that's going to be about 10%. But that 10% is based off of the item total, which you can see here is 1 yen. So it may not be charged duty and taxes because the item total is just so low. So it is quite possible that when I order this item, if I were to order this one item by itself, I would pay a total of about 40 Canadian dollars. For our second example, this is going to be a receipt for the Omega Seamaster that I purchased a few months ago. You can see that the domestic delivery charge is a little bit higher. It's at 1180 yen. The payment fee here, don't worry about that. This was something that they used to charge, but any future purchases from Japan or Buyee.jp, they don't have payment fees anymore. The plan fee is 600 yen, and that's because I actually shipped 2 items together, the Seiko Grand Quartz and the Omega Seamaster. So the plan fee is per item, so that's why it's 600 yen. The overseas shipping, if you remember the 1 yen item, it was about 3,000 yen. This one is 3924 yen. I believe this is because I'm shipping the Omega Seamaster, which came in its original box. So it was bigger and it was heavier, so the shipping was a bit more expensive. And then, so if you go down here, there is a coupon discount, but if you cancel this out, so if I only shipped 1 item, if I only shipped the Omega Seamaster, this would be 300 yen. Let's say if I didn't have the coupon, then this would be the total 5,800 yen. So in today's currency, that'd actually be closer to $60, but you can see here it was about $56 Canadian. And similar to the shipping page, this receipt does not show the duty and taxes I had to pay. And because the Omega Seamaster was $1,000, I paid about $100 in the duty and taxes. So that means that in total for a $1,000 watch, I paid about $150, $160 in the duty plus taxes plus shipping fees. For my final example, this is a receipt for my Citizen Chronomaster that I purchased back in 2020. You can see again, there was a payment fee, but don't worry about it. They don't charge it anymore. The plan fee used to be 700 yen, but now it's 300 yen. Overseas shipping, 3,300 yen, that's pretty typical. But then here for 2,800 yen, there's a Japan Post export clearance fee. So if the item that you ship, if the value or the purchase price is over 200,000 yen and you use Japan Post, so EMS, to ship your item, they will charge you this export clearance fee of 2,800 yen. And the reason why I didn't use FedEx, because if you use FedEx, you can skip this fee. But during 2020, FedEx stopped shipping from Japan, so I had to use EMS. So my advice is that if you are shipping something that is more than 200,000 yen, I would use DHL or FedEx, because then you can avoid this export clearance fee. So if you look at the charge to total and the charge to payment, you can see that the exchange rate wasn't the best back in 2020, at least for the Canadian dollar. So the total was 7,000 yen, which was $94 Canadian in 2020. This would have been about $70 today. I purchased the Citizen Chronomaster for 250,000 yen, which back in the day was about 2,700 Canadian dollars, and then I had to pay the 10% duty and taxes, plus the $94 for the charge to payment, and if you put that all together, the total cost was about 3,100 Canadian dollars. So I threw up a bunch of numbers today, which might have been a bit confusing, so here's a summary sheet just to show what we talked about. So example number 1, again, that item price was just 1 yen. The shipping plus fees was about 4,000 yen, and duty and tax, well, if the item price is 1, I'm going to assume that duty plus tax would be 0, so the total is 4,001, and so the percent increase would be about 4,000% of an increase. Item number 2 was the Omega Seamaster, which I bought for 100,000 yen. The shipping plus fees is a little bit tricky because I did buy two things, or I shipped two things together, but I'm going to approximate to about 5,500 yen. And then duty and tax is about 10%, so that's 10,000 yen. So if you put it all together, that is 115,500 total yen. And this represents about a 15.5% increase from the original price. Item number 3 was the Citizen Chronomaster. I bought this for 250,000 yen. The shipping and fees was about 7,000 yen. Duty and tax was about 25,000 yen. And then if you put that all together, that is about 282,000 yen. So that represents a 12.8% increase from the original item price. But this number could definitely be lower because I did have to pay that 2,800 yen export clearance fee, and that's because I had to use Japan Post. FedEx wasn't available at the time. If I was able to use FedEx, then this number probably would have been about an 11.7% increase from the original price. So what this table shows us is that buying more expensive watches is more worth it compared to buying cheaper watches from Japan. And that's mainly because of the shipping and the fees. Be prepared to pay at least around 4,000 to 6,000 yen just for that. And then of course you also have your duty and tax fees that apply depending on which province you're from and which state you're from. If you buy a watch that's only 100 or 200 Canadian dollars worth, then that shipping fee is really going to add to the total cost of your watch. The only exception is if you buy watches in bulk, let's say you buy 5 or 10 watches at a time, then this could be worth it because the shipping plus fees, it doesn't increase that much for every additional watch that you ship. And that's why I'm going to be trying to ship multiple watches at the same time instead of shipping them one at a time. So here's an example of me buying watches from bulk. You can see that I have 7 items here and the payment amount is $80. So with this one item, it was $40. But if I add another 6 items, it's only up to $80 now. Also, just in case you're interested, the government of Canada actually has a duty and tax calculator if you want to calculate the exact amount you're going to be paying. So if you had a $100 watch and you're living in Ontario, you can see that it will cost you about 18 to 19%. So anyways, that's my video showing you the true cost of buying watches from Japan. I hope that this was an informative video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you bought a watch recently from Japan and how much it ended up costing. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.